Kandia with Kandia Haynesworth Designs, and thank you so much for joining in today. I have a tip for you what to do with your scrap HTV after you have done projects. Now, whether it be for gifts or clients, you have scrap that is good scrap. And so you want to have ideas on what to use with your scrap. I got you covered. And so today we are going to be using this piece of scrap from a recent project to personalize one of my shirts. And now I'm going to grab the shirt. I'm going to show you where we are going to be using it. I am going to be using it on the wrist cuffs of the shirt. Okay, so as you can see, the wrist cuffs are not that wide at all, which is perfect because that means that I won't be using too much of this piece of scrap. So the wrist cuffs in itself is for the personalization is going to be about 2 inches wide and about 1 inch high. And so I need 2, so I just need to make sure that 2 of those can fit onto my HTV. So one of the things that I want to point out is when you're doing this project, you just want to make sure that your scrap isn't too small and it will cover the project that you are trying to cover. So I'll meet you over at the computer where I have my logos already uploaded in the Cricut design space. Okay, so we are in Cricut Design Space, and as you can see, I've already uploaded my logo and I've duplicated it. Now, one of the things I want you to pay close attention to is, remember, my scrap HTV was 4 inches and a quarter wide by 4 inches high. Okay, and so if you pay attention to the width of this is going to fit perfectly, and if you pay attention to the height of this is going to fit perfectly as well because it is within that space or the size of my scrap HTV. And then I'm going to click on Make It, and it's going to take me to that Cricut mat, which is the second part of that. And I am going to flip or mirror or reverse this image. And I'm just going to make sure that my Cricut Maker is plugged in and it is connected and it is ready to go. And so one of the things I guess that I want to tell you is that I've partnered up with Cricut, and now is the time to get a Cricut Maker if you have not already done so, because with the purchase of Cricut Access, you will enjoy a 10% discount off of the Cricut Maker. And so the Cricut Maker is roughly about $399.99. So with a 10% discount, you're going to save about $39.99, which is about, close to $40. That's a nice discount. Okay, so once again, with the Cricut Access purchase, you will enjoy a 10% discount off of the Cricut Maker. So now is the time to purchase that. And by the way, I am also compensated for endorsing their product. And so by clicking the link below, it helps me out a little bit. Okay, and so I am going to be using vinyl. And I already have my Cricut connected, and so the only thing I have to do now is load the mat. The mat is not loaded, so I'm just going to walk over to the Cricut Maker, load the mat, and then we're going to be ready to go. So before we get to the weeding table, we got to stop at the Cricut Maker, right? Right. And so as you can see, I have that small little piece of scrap HTV onto the Cricut mat, and it is already loaded into the Cricut Maker. And it is all ready to go because you see that flashing Cricut icon. And so I'm just going to press it, and then it is going to scan the mat. And then it's going to begin cutting out my design. Now, I got to tell you that I have some small lettering and small numbers on my logo. And so I don't think that I am going to be using that for my wrist collars. And so I'm just going to probably trim it off. I'll see the way it weeds. If it weeds too small, then I am just going to trim it off. What I really just want to focus on really is just the overall name of my company. I want that to show prominently when I am doing presentations or if I am wearing this shirt in a YouTube video that I am making. So basically that is what my thought process was when I was shrinking down my logo this size for the HTV and for this project altogether. And so we are going to allow the Cricut Maker to do its thing, and then I will meet you over at the weeding table. But once again, I just want to... Okay, so I've already cut off the excess scrap. Okay, and I plan to try to use the scrap again, the little part of the scrap. Now remember, I had said that this had some little tiny lettering, and I was going to try to see if I could, but salvage it, but I'm not going to, yeah, it's too small, so I don't care. I'm just going to let it cut off. And pull up. I don't care. I'm just really worried about the Kandia. Not even so much the Haynesworth. I'm really just worried about the Kandia. If the Haynesworth comes off, I'm okay with that. Like, some of the letters are coming off. Yeah, I don't care about that. I just really care about the Kandia, and the Kandia came out fine. So I'm just going to weed that. And I'm just going to trim the excess off, like all this other area. I'm just going to trim off the excess area with a scissors. And I'm just going to do the second one. And the second one's going to be the same thing. I'm just going to weed it. And once again, I don't care about anything else because the letters were too small and they were very fine, so I was okay with that. And so I'm just going to trim this off, and then I will meet you at the tag press. We're using a heat press today, but it's actually a tag press, which is just a smaller version of a heat press. So once again, I'm just going to trim off this area here, trim off that area there, once again over here, and then I will meet you at the tag press with the shirt. Okay, so we are using the tag press, which is a 5x5 heat press, and I purchased it from heatpressnation.com. It is perfect for little projects like this, or if you are putting on tags, or if you are doing a small personalization on small items. And so I have the heat press set to 330 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are going to be pressing this at 20 seconds. Today I am using the Caesar Easy Weed vinyl, and it is in the black, okay, and it is a regular one. It's not like an electric or a holographic or anything like that. It is their regular vinyl. And so I'm going to grab my shirt, and actually first I should show you the HTV. Okay, and so what I did was I cut out, oh, can you see that? Actually, let me grab something so you can see. I cut out the lettering, okay, so all of the information in regards to my logo, you know, the website, the telephone number, that kind of thing, even my last name, because it was just too small. The letters was just too small, and so I'm just going to put Kandia on the wrist cuffs, and yes, I'm going to put them on both of the wrist cuffs, and it's going to work. I think it's going to work out fine. So let me grab my shirt, and I'll get it on the heat press, and we'll get started. Okay, so for this project, because it is a smaller heat press, you definitely want to use gloves. Okay, so either way, if you are a person that is not accustomed to using gloves and you do fine, this is not the project that you want to be a hero and or cocky and not use gloves, because your hands are going to be too close to this heat press because of the size of it. This is not a swing away. This is not a sliding draw like my other larger heat presses. This is just that clam shell where you just press down and then you click back up, and so your hands is going to be under here when you are positioning your garment or your item. Okay, and so I'm going to grab my item, and I am going to show you where I'm going to put it at. I've already tagged it, and so I've used that embroidery masking tape that I normally use. I'm just going to kind of slide this on like so, and then I'm going to take this glove off because I do need to get that tape. I do need to get that tape off, and I do need to get the heat transfer vinyl on, but I just wanted to make sure that I was headed in the right direction in how I was going to position this onto the heat press. Okay, so we have a close shot up of what I'm doing here, and I'm just going to grab my other glove and get my other glove on, okay, because I don't want to get burned. And so as you can see, I've already added the heat transfer vinyl, and what I am doing now is just making sure that the heat transfer tape is in place. Okay, and so I also have a piece of Teflon sheet. As you can see there, I cut it down, and I'm also going to use a little 5x5 cut down Teflon sheet, and I'm just going to slide it over there in between, and covering the garment, covering the HTV, and then I am going to slowly push down and slide out my hands, and then clamp. Okay, so it is ready. Okay, and so I'm going to take off the Teflon sheet, slide this off, take off my glove. All right, back up the camera, refocus the camera. All right, and so let's do the reveal. And this is a little bit hot. I like it. I like it. Okay. And so that's my personalization. All I'm going to do now is just put it. Okay, so here is the finished product, and I have this shirt on, and as you can see, when I am doing videos, in the videos you'll be able to see it nice and prominently, my name, and if I am doing a presentation, it will also show prominently as well. I like it, I like it, I like it. Now, I actually have cuffs with embroidery on it, and I gotta tell you, the embroidery, it looks really good, especially when you have a wide wrist cuff. I think I was calling it wrist collar before. I don't know what I was saying, but it's a wrist cuff, not a wrist collar. Okay, and so it does look really good with the embroidery as well. But I gotta tell you, with the HTV, it really came out nicely. I hope that you're really getting to see this in the camera, and it's a good focus. I got it on autofocus, but it really looks good. And when I am doing tutorials, or if I am working with my hands, this shows off very nicely. That's all I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And once again, if you have not invested in a Cricut Maker, now is the time to do so, because you can get 10% off when you purchase the Cricut Access, and it is 10% off of the Cricut Maker. And once again, it's about almost close to a $40 savings, a penny short of a $40 savings. Now is the time to get it. Cricut Makers is usually a run around $3.99, so roughly about $400, and you save about $39.99 off of it because you get that 10% off. And I am compensated by Cricut for endorsing their product. And if you click the link below, you can go directly over to sign up and make your purchase. That's all I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, click that bell so you can be notified. I don't even know why I have this in my hand. You can be notified when I upload videos. You can also find me on Instagram, Kandia Haynesworth, or on Facebook at KandiaHaynesworth.com. One of the things I also wanted to tell you is you can also join my new group called Dollar Tree Moneymakers. Dollar Tree Moneymakers, okay? And so you'll be seeing a lot of heat transfer vinyl stuff, embroidery stuff that I am using with Dollar Tree products. I would like you to come over and join. And you don't have to be a business owner. You could be a hobbyist. You could just be someone who is interested in that kind of thing. No restrictions there, no questions to ask. Other than that, I'll see you next time.